Conor McGregor's silly tweets still get headlines. And they should. That's meant as a compliment. I read them too. He puts one out. And he challenges Floyd Mayweather. I mean, this is beyond ridiculous. No fighter could get away with this. No matter how big they were, no matter what kind of a draw they were, they just couldn't get headlines with something this ridiculous, which is the compliment. He says, oh, hey, Floyd, you said you were going to do an MMA fight at some point. I hear the White House is nice in the summer. So Conor's challenging Floyd Mayweather to an MMA fight at the White House. Ridiculous, right? And when I'm reading it, as quick as it is, there's 2 sentences, but it does cross my mind. Poor Michael Chandler. I mean, really, I know we don't do things that we deserve and it's the right thing to do. Michael Chandler deserves the fight, and it's the right thing to do. If you're going to bring Conor back, we got to put him against Chandler. We just do. So as I'm reading this quick tweet, this quick X post, I'm protesting saying X, by the way. I like Twitter. I do think to myself, poor Chandler. Well, Conor then finishes it. The final sentence of this is, just kidding, Mike. Then he says, well, actually, I'll fight you both the same night. At any rate, he includes the just kidding, Mike. One person that does agree with me that if Conor fights, it should be Michael Chandler. Happens to be, and thank goodness, but it happens to be Conor McGregor. Conor lives by a code. I don't completely know his code. I don't completely understand it. But he does live by a code. And there has been a real consistency by Conor when push comes to shove that it will be Chandler. Red Panty Night is real. The excitement of Conor McGregor is real. Conor McGregor will do whatever he wants is real. So the fact that he does remain consistent that this will be against Chandler is a pretty cool and helpful thing. But I will just tell you, our industry is changing. Was it Jon Anik was on Jackson podcast? I believe that's right. And this was just a week ago. And Anik actually said, you know what? The Chandler fight doesn't do anything for me. And Anik had a couple of other suggestions. Well, that's a very powerful voice. Not to mention the other suggestions were pretty good. They were pretty interesting. And the Chandler fight is a little bit confusing. I mean, and it's not Chandler's fault, but I don't know a lot about that fight. I don't know if that would be the main event that night. And all of a sudden there's no title fight on the White House card. I can't really imagine that Conor fights and gets demoted. I can't imagine that Conor would want to fight and not be main event, but it could be. But let's say it's not. Okay, was it 3 or 5 rounds? And whatever the answer, I can accept. But we're not going to do it at 155 pounds. The only thing I can tell you about the fight is we're not going to do the fight the only place we should do the fight, which is 155. The only thing that I can tell you for sure, if McGregor fights, is it won't be at 155. Will it even be at a weight class? There's talk of 65. There's talk of 75. I hope that gets pushed back on. You got to do it in a weight class. Catch weight is a very strange thing to do. And if you get put in a strange situation, go ahead and do it. By example, the day before, there's a weigh and there's an issue, the fight's tomorrow. We should not contractually book a fight at a weight that is not a weight class. But I digress. Conor had done a piece with Chandler many years ago, and you guys might have seen it, but it's circling back around, and I just saw it again. And Conor mentions that he wants to do the fight at 170, and then Conor mentions that he wants to do the fight at 185. Chandler thinks for a second. Chandler says, I'll do the fight at 185. And Conor responds with one of the great alpha lines of all time, when he simply says, you will do what you're told. Now, I remember when Conor said it, as a viewer going, Get him, Mike. Get him. All right. Like, it was a great line by Conor. Ooh, let's hear what Mike says. Chandler said nothing. I have had 3 years to think about this. I still don't have the line. The expression, the truth. It's the truth that hurts. It's the truth that will get you. Conor's right. Like, yeah, Mike, I don't need you to tell me you'll do it at 185. You will do this wherever this fight is. You will do it at heavyweight, if I say. We will do it 3 rounds. We'll do it 5 rounds. We'll do it 4 rounds. We'll do it in Tampa. We'll do it in Antioch. There's no scenario where you're not going to show up for this fight and be happy to have it. And that's true. And that is true now. But I do have my own wish. And if Conor fights, it should be Chandler. And we should agree on that. And we should not start headlines and conversations in other directions. I don't think that it hurts the fight or helps the fight to say now, right? I'm talking about the UFC. I'm talking about when they come out and they're doing interviews, it's going to be Chandler. If this fight happens, it will be against Chandler. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's an unhelpful thing. In fact, I think that would be the right thing. But the fact that Conor can put out such a ridiculous statement and still garner headlines, it's a very powerful thing, and it's a very interesting thing. Conor versus Floyd in MMA at the White House is ridiculous. I think that he meant it to be ridiculous. But Red Panty Night is still real.